Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Link Up. Today we're chatting to Darby Barber. She competes in time attack in the States in a Miata MX-5. Before we get talking, let's have a quick look at her in action. Hey Darby, thanks so much for taking the time out to join us tonight. Let's jump straight in and get chatting. Do you want to introduce yourself and tell us a bit about the car that you currently compete with?
Sure. My name is Darby. I'm from Metro Detroit area, Michigan, and I drive a 99 time attack Mazda Miata. It's turbocharged. It makes about 360 to the wheels, and I compete in street modified at Gridlife.
It's awesome. I've seen some video footage of your car and it's pretty epic. How long have you owned this vehicle for?
So I bought it bone stock 6 years ago, and it's gone through a lot of evolution since. I've gone through a lot of phases with it, a lot of parts with it, but I'm pretty happy with where it is now. I'm sure it'll keep evolving, but it's been quite the journey for sure.
Yeah, so how hands-on have you been with doing those modifications yourself?
Now I do all of it. In the beginning, I really didn't know anything. So when I first bought the car, I hardly knew how to drive manual, and I actually stalled it at all the red lights on the way home. I was just like, I want a manual toy, and I went and bought one, and then it just snowballed into this. And I had a lot of mentors and people in the beginning that were kind of walk me through how to do stuff. And then I pulled my first motor, and I learned a lot from that. And then once I got past that stage of being afraid of, what's going to happen if I break it, and realizing that everything's fixable, I just kind of dove right in. And so now every single part and piece on the car, I know you could point to one part and I could tell you what size socket you need for it. So at this stage in the game, I know everything like back of my hand, but I definitely started out a newbie, and I learned a lot, and I'm still learning a lot too.
That's really awesome to hear, how far you've come in a short space of time. Do you prefer doing that garage, the work side on the car, or do you prefer driving it, or equally?
I like both.
Okay.
I like both, honestly, because I think working on it is really rewarding, and I'm a designer, so I really enjoy designing a lot of the aero pieces on it, like the side skirts and the splitter and the wing end plates. So I designed and made all those, and that's always fun because it's really rewarding when you get to finally finish bolt it on the car and see how it looks done, and just maintenance work and stuff like that too. I think it's I also love driving, but you gotta have, in my opinion, you gotta have kind of both, because the more you work on the car, the more you get to know it, and then when you change something and then you feel it on track, you can really put into perspective what changed.
Yeah, that makes sense now. You're saying that you're a designer, because the car does look epic. It looks really, really neat.
Thank you.
It does make sense. Do you want to tell our followers a little bit about what you do? So I think time attack is probably your main focus. Is that correct?
Yeah. So I do time attack, usually with Gridlife.
Yeah. And
I'm in street modified, so it's basically your car has to be street legal, and it's kind of on the border. So some cars in street modified are really pushing it, but as long as you can legally drive it and go get ice cream or something, you're good. So you have to have an interior, you have to have carpet, center console, dash, your climate controls have to work, and stuff like what a street car would need. But otherwise, it's pretty much open. Your aero is somewhat restricted within 5 inches of the plan view of the car, so your wing can only be so wide. But power wise, there's cars on street mod making 600-700 horsepower, so it's definitely a competitive class. I'm making 360 right now, but my car's light, so it's Miata. It's pretty light, and I think I'm getting close to being competitive. I think my best placing so far was 5th. And I was pretty happy with that. It's not a podium yet, but I think I'm definitely working towards it, so I'm excited.
Yeah, that's awesome. Top 5 is a good result, like you say, against some very powerful machines. So your MX-5 is putting out a lot more power than a stock one. Do you want to tell us a bit about the specifications of some of the upgrades that you've done?
Sure. So I've got, let's see, So I've got Wiseco 10.5-to-1 forged pistons, Manley rods. The head is pretty stock. I don't have too much on the head. I've got SuperTech dual valve springs, titanium retainers. I do have SuperTech valves. Let's see. I've got the Fab 9 tuning, turbo manifold downpipe, 3-inch exhaust. Let's see. I've got the Skunk 2 intake, throttle body. I'm still on the 6-speed Miata transmission, and wow. I'm on the Miata differential, which is kind of pushing it. But I did get an OS Geiken this year to put into the Miata diff, and that's been huge. But motor-wise, it's built bottom end, nothing too crazy. I've got the Borg Warner 6758 turbo, and that's been great for me. I've had that on for 3 or 4 years now, and then I've got now my Link G4 Fury ECU, which has been awesome. So I finally got the car where I want it, and it delivers the power and a really nice power band. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, it must be so much fun to drive.
It is.
Yeah, I can imagine. What made you choose that Link Fury? You've gone for a full wire and standalone setup there. What made you go with Link and with the Fury ECU? Link was kind of like new to me. I didn't know a whole lot about them, but when my tuner told me like everything that the Link Fury can do, it's like a really capable ECU, and it's built extremely well. I know it's gone through like so many testing and weatherproofing to make sure that it's good in like every condition. And then the customer service behind Link is awesome, and I think that the products are just top quality, like you can't beat it. And then the other side of it is the user interface. So my tuner really prefers Link to work with Link over any other ECU because it's tunability and like your ability to program literally everything. So I think that it's definitely one of the, if not, I think it's the best ECU company for sure. And we're not paying here to say that.
Right, no. I think the quality is just blows everything else out of the water, so it's awesome.
Oh, that's great to hear. And you mentioned there your tuner, so I know that you use Andy from A-Star Fabrication. How many times have you been to see him since installing that Link Fury, and do you know what sort of work he's done on the dyno with the car?
So I've only, after getting the Fury installed, I think I've only had it tuned by him once because there was no issues or bugs. So when I was on my prior ECU, it was a AEM, I was always in and out. And we could never figure out a bunch of these small issues. Like I've always had a cam crank signal error. And there's just all these errors that we didn't really know how to fix them. It was just like a bunch of bugs that other people had with that ECU as well. So we were finally like, we need to make the jump, to Link. So when we did, we got the car on the dyno, and he tuned it once, and it's been working perfectly since. So there's been no issues, no bugs, and there's a lot of really great fail-safes as well. Like if there's a bunch of errors, the ECU like realizes it, and I think it like turns some stuff off so that it doesn't harm the car. So while other ECUs will just keep letting the errors happen, Link is like proactive and realizes it and tries to fix it. So we've been really happy with it.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And I know Andy will have those features set up as best as possible for your car. Have you tried to learn anything about the tuning side yourself, or are you hands-on with using that data logging or anything?
I have tried. So I just ordered my own laptop, and I got a cool little pad to put on the car for the laptop. Oh, nice. And then I took Andy's, he's doing a Link tuning class, and I learned a lot with that. I'm kind of more of a right brain creative type, so a lot of that technical stuff is like over my head, but I'm trying.
I feel it.
I really do want to learn at least the little stuff. So when I'm at the track, if I need a quick small adjustment, like in a turn where I need a little more fuel or something, I'd like to do little stuff like that. And eventually, I think I'll always use Andy as my primary tuner because he's phenomenal. But I would like to learn a little bit more about like doing little stuff here and there myself.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'm sure that data logging could be of great use, particularly in time attack.
Especially on track.
Yeah, definitely. You mentioned earlier some events that you've been doing, Gridlife. Has your schedule been affected by COVID-19? I would assume so. This year has been a bit disrupted. So what events have you done this year, and do you have some more coming up?
Yeah, so my schedule, or my season this year, was definitely impacted. I hardly made any events. I made one a couple weeks ago that was a track day. So it was kind of a test and tune. Or I do have an upcoming event actually next week on Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday is the Gridlife Midwest. It's not really the festival anymore because of COVID, but they have been doing a few events here and there. There's no spectators at the previous events, but I think for Midwest there might be a small limited spectator count available. I'm not really sure on that one, but hopefully it turns out well. And I think at the last track day, I got most of the bugs sorted out. So hopefully we can perform good at Gridlife.
Yeah, good luck for that. We caught you at a good time just ahead of a competition. What aspirations do you have for the future? Will you continue with your Miata and keep developing it? Or do you have any goals in mind for other cars?
I am open to other cars, but I think I'll always have the Miata. At least right now, I think I'll always have it. I've just got so much into it, and right now I know the car so well that it's, I just know how, I know everything that it does. I know its quirks and everything and how it drives around the track. And I would like to try a new car because I never have driven another car on the track actually. So I got the Miata and I just went straight I modified it and kept tracking it. I never really branched out to anything else. So I would love to keep developing the Miata and just making it like a killer. I want a podium with it because everybody they don't really take the Miata seriously in time attack because you're up against Subarus and Evos and big horsepower cars, and then you have a little Miata.
Yeah.
So I would really like to prove everyone wrong with the Miata and really show them what that chassis can do because I think it's really capable. After that, I would definitely be open to some other cars, but I still think the Miata is definitely going to be awesome.
Yeah, fair enough. I think we all can actually feel that attachment that you get, to something, and when you develop it and you've worked with it for so long, following it through to the end to the podium would be such a great result.
Oh, for sure.
How do you find it at those race meetings? Obviously coming in, I don't know really what I guess cold turkey, like you were very new to motorsport by the sound of it. How did you find everyone, and did people help you out a lot to begin with?
Yeah, they did. And I just kind of stumbled upon it. So I've always been a car enthusiast. I've always been into cars. So that wasn't new, but the track thing was because I didn't have any plans well, like when I got this car, I had no plans of making it into a race car. Okay. It was just going to be my fun toy. And then a couple of my friends were like, hey, do you want to go to a track day? And I was like, what's that? And they're like, you get to drive your car on track. And I'm like, sure, why not? So I went, and I was just like, this is it. When's the next one? Like, when can I go again? Yeah. And then once I started learning the car and learning how to actually drive on track, because when my first track day, I didn't know how to heel toe or rough match or any of that stuff. I actually spun out because I shoved it down a gear and let off the clutch without rough matching mid-corner, and the car spun out. And I got back on. I was like, okay, how do I not do that? So I was always looking for the next learning experience. I wanted to learn how to control the car better, and I actually drifted the car for a year. And that was awesome. That was so much fun. I love drifting. Miata is a short chassis for it, but
it's a bit snappy.
It was a lot of fun. So I did so much with the car. I drifted it. I took it to a drag race. I did autocross with it, track days, and it just kept pulling me in. So what can I do to the car to make it faster? What about coilovers, brakes, suspension, power? And then it just kept evolving from there.
Yeah, that's so cool. Thank you so much for sharing your story with us. I really enjoyed hearing all that, and I guess we probably better let you go. It's evening your time, so we'll let you go enjoy your evening. But thanks so much for, of course, choosing Link ECU, but sharing your story. It's been fascinating to hear, and we wish you good luck for the rest of the season.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.